Welcome everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Bearded IT Dad. This is something new for me. We are going live. I'm actually on my lunch break here at work currently, but I am sitting in my car and I want to just take a little bit to talk to you guys, answer any questions you guys might have about the IT career field and stuff like that. So if you have any questions, please make sure and put them in the chat. I am hopefully here able to get the chat up here on screen. But yeah, I figured I would come on and talk about, a lot of people are looking to make a career change right now and might not know where to start. There's a lot of uncertainties in the IT career field. People wanting to come into the field that might not have any career experience, or really have any technical knowledge. And that's where I kind of wanted to give some advice and help out. I constantly get asked questions like, I'm a teacher or I work in construction, but I'm unhappy with my job. I don't want to make a career change. Or I get people coming to me saying, I'm currently unemployed. Instead of going back into what I've always been doing, manufacturing or something, I want to get into IT. And my biggest advice to you is lean heavy on your people skills. You have more experience than you give yourself credit for. The technical skills can always be trained in an entry-level help desk position. But what's the hardest thing to train in the IT career field is your people skills, the ability to talk to customers. IT is definitely a customer service oriented position nowadays, especially your entry-level positions. Gone are the days of basement IT departments that smell of old pizza and stinky socks. You are on the front lines working a lot of times with customers, and you might not be working with your company's customers, but your internal employees are your customers. And that's just something where those people skills really come into play. And it's something good to have, and some good, it's good to have on your resume. You might, like I said, you might not have any skills in the IT field, but having those customer service skills definitely make a big difference. JM here in the chat. I want to get into IT, but a remote job since I travel a lot. I have A+, Sec+, and Server Plus, and MTA network, and currently working on a CHL. You have some really amazing certifications. You have all those great certifications, and you're looking to get into the IT field. You have everything you need to get into the field. I wouldn't even work on more certifications at this point. I would look at start applying, start looking heavily for remote jobs. You have more than enough certifications to break into the field. And a lot of times an employer will, if you have too many certifications, they might say, oh, you're too qualified for an entry-level position. It might work against you having a whole bunch of certifications. So I would start working on applying for jobs, talking to people in the IT fields, there is tons of remote jobs out there, especially post-COVID now. We're not out of COVID yet, but since COVID happened, a lot of positions and a lot of IT jobs have gone to a remote job. That is absolutely the case. But some of them are being pulled back in, but you just need to put yourself out there. You have the experience, you have the knowledge now. I would start putting yourself out there and start talking to these employers. And if you start getting turned down, start talking to them. Start talking to other people in the field. Go on, there's some great LinkedIn groups out there, or Discords, and start seeing what other people in the positions you want are doing to get those positions. What their day-to-day job is like, what companies they work for. Go out there and start gathering this information. JM, that's my biggest advice to you. It will really help you figure out what you need to do to position yourself and make you look more desirable to these employers. So figure out what these employers are looking for that work, have common remote jobs. So JM asked, Would you recommend getting into coding or programming since those job roles are a little bit more flexible as far as working remotely? I would recommend getting into whatever interests you. You know, do what you enjoy to do, and you'll find a job. If you enjoy coding and programming, or you think you'd like it, try it out. See if you can see yourself doing that every single day, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. And if you really find enjoyment in coding and programming, absolutely go for it. There's a lot of money to be made in that field. But make sure, don't just take a job for its flexibility. That's a great perk of a job, but in the long run, you're going to be miserable. You're going to get burnt out quicker. Take a job because it's something you want to do on a day-to-day basis, and it's something you enjoy. So, like I said, maybe go take a class or a little course or something. There's tons of coding resources out there. Try it out. If it's something you see yourself doing on a day-to-day basis, then absolutely go for, do stuff in coding, because it's going to help you out, and it's going to be, definitely more flexible. But if you do that and you find yourself not interested or don't like it, then cut bait and try something else. There's plenty of other remote positions out there. Networking is a common one. Desktop support. A lot of times you can work remote, especially if you're working for an MSP, a multiple service provider. Some of those positions are remote positions. So definitely just try it out. Make sure whatever you go after, you really enjoy. Trey, I want to work in tech, studying for an A+ exam, planning on taking Core 1 soon. That is awesome. And good luck to you on the Core 1 exam. A+ is an amazing, I think that is the best place to start when you're looking to get into IT. It's the best certification you can have to get that entry-level position, especially for people who may not have a lot of experience. And Comptia, and just be aware, Comptia hasn't officially announced the end of the 1000 series exams, but we are pretty much overdue for Comptia to come out with a new exam. And don't take this advice as I should wait for the new exam to come out, because an employer doesn't know if you have which exam. They just know you have an A+. But don't delay and drag your feet is what I'm telling you. Once Comptia announces the new A+, you typically have at least 6 months to still take the old exam. So just my word of advice to you is don't procrastinate, keep on studying, go out and take your exam. You'll do great. Flashcards helped a lot with the memorization of like port numbers and stuff. I don't think that much is that port numbers and stuff isn't really on your Core 1 exam, but yeah, absolutely. So stumbled across your stream on Spotify down, or come across your stream on Spotify down, so watching you on YouTube. Subscribe but didn't get notified. Well, welcome. Yeah, we haven't put a lot out to our Spotify podcast lately. So this is something we plan on doing in the future. This isn't our normal streaming platform. I'm doing it from the car just because I want to do an extra live stream. I was supposed to put out a recorded video tomorrow. I've just been feeling under the weather, been feeling sick, haven't had time to edit. So I decided to come live and talk to you guys today. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you have any other questions, if you're just tuning in, this is your chance to ask any tech questions you have. Trey, I don't have much tech experience. Oops. I've been working in a water treatment company for the past few years. That's great. That's a great job, and an A+ is definitely good, ground for you to to get your feet wet in the tech field. So you're saying you're going to take it in about 2 weeks. Then I'm going to get both exams before the new one comes out. I've been studying since the beginning of February. Love the channel, by the way. Thank you. And Trey, if you need some more Resources. Professor Messer is an awesome resource. I use Professor Messer a lot when studying. Professor Messer is here on YouTube for those of you who don't know. But I use Professor Messer a lot when studying for my Comptia A+. So go check that out. Flashcards are great and everything too. Let me know if you have any more questions though. Are certifications for completions better? Oops, sorry. Certification for completion better than certs. I have 2 certifications of completion of my computer career. One certificate is of completion is cybersecurity program. I'm not too sure what you're talking about. Certificate of completion. Get well soon. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, I have a security clearance and a Sec Plus. Awesome, by the way. This is Troy, by the way. You have security clearance and Sec Plus. About to get out of the Army. Any recommendations on where I should apply and what jobs I should apply for? Apply for whatever jobs interest you. If you already have a security plus and security clearance, that's you are well ahead of most people getting into the security field. Definitely, I'd start looking right now. Start looking at what jobs out there require security plus or require security clearance. Start looking at that stuff, and you can, just start getting an idea of the type of companies you can apply for and easily land a position for. That's what my recommendation is. So, let me see something here. Oops. Button. There we go. Sorry, the chat was messing with me. Had to move things around. But anyways, Troy, start looking for different positions that require a security plus and a security clearance. Start going on Indeed and search security plus and see the different companies out there, and that will really start giving you an idea ahead of time what type of companies you can be applying for. So chat's getting away from me. Let's see. Hey Pat, welcome. By the way, guys, there's a great podcast, and I did an interview with these guys. So You Want to Be in IT is an amazing podcast. If you're looking for a great tech podcast, go check out So You Want to Be in IT. They're on all the major podcast platforms, but it's a great podcast series. I actually did an interview and gave a bunch of great advice over there. So go over and check those guys out. Give them a like, subscribe. JM, a certificate of completion is like a diploma they give you for passing a couple tech classes in IT program. It's like a degree, but not a degree. Okay, that's what I thought you were talking about. A certificate of completion is great. Definitely include it on your resume. But the difference between a certification and a certificate of completion is, a certification is set by a company like Comptia, and everyone, it's like it's a set, here's a certification. It guarantees if you have the certification, all this information here in between. Where a certificate of completion, every industry that issues those, or every place, is different. It varies. Where employers know if you have this certification, X, Y, and Z, everything on the list. Where a certificate of completion, you might know more than the certification, or you might know less, just depending on the industry, the institution that gave it. So that's my take on certifications versus certificate of completion. Definitely, I think certifications hold more weight behind them. Let's take a look here at the chat. Trey, yeah, I need to get some flashcards. Professor Messer has been a godsend. Between him and Mike Myers, absolutely. Mike Myers is a great resource as well. I think I got this. I've been looking at jobs, and most want 1 year of experience. Yes, Trey, most jobs will ask for experience, but don't let that hold you back from applying for the job, because that requirement list they have is, in all honesty, more of a wish list, and they're not going to find that. you're not going to find someone that's looking to break into the field that has years of experience. It's just not out there. And my biggest, like I said, go out there and apply for those jobs, because there's a good chance you are the most qualified person applying for that position, and you're going to get the job because of that. They have that position, they need to fill it. And if no one's applying with that experience, there's a good chance you're going to land that position, especially if you have great people skills, great communication skills, and you, like you said, you're studying for your A+, you're taking your exams. Once you have your A+ exam, you're going to be a really good candidate without that 1 year of experience on the job. So, and if you want to talk about experience, talk about home labs you did. Talk about what you did like on your home network. Talk about things you've done to your computer. That there is experience. So don't disregard that at all. So Comptia A+, I'm working on getting mainly just techie enthusiasts though. Awesome. See, did I miss anyone? If you're looking for great flashcards, Anki flashcards are amazing. Absolutely. Those are that's the flashcard program. I think I talked about them on my last live stream Sunday. It's a great flashcard program. It uses repetition to help you remember certain things that you're not, if you're not answering correctly and stuff. That's a great flashcard program. So if you guys are just joining the stream, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We're just doing this was kind of an impromptu live stream. I'm currently working today. I have a lunch break, and I decided, well, since I'm not going to be able to probably put a video out this week, I'm going to come on here and do a live stream. So not saying I'm not putting a video out, it's just I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. I've been under the weather. You might be able to hear it in my voice. I don't know how good this microphone is. You might be able to hear it in my voice, but I've had a cold for the last week and a half or so, just takes it out of me. Trey, you're gonna go look into those flashcards. Absolutely. I don't know if they still do. When I studied for my A+, I used CBT Nuggets. CBT Nuggets was a great resource, and built into my subscription with CBT Nuggets for my A+, they provided flashcards through that app. They built all these flashcards for me with everything I need to remember, and it was so useful. I remember my wife and I were going on a drive, and I handed her my phone and I asked her to start quizzing me, and it was like an hour-long drive, and she just worked through these flashcards with me, and it was great. It really helped me memorize that stuff. The thing is to remember, in a real life scenario, when you're working on the job, you're not expected to remember all this stuff. You're not expected to remember port numbers and stuff like that. You're going to use Google to look that stuff up. But for the exam, you are expected to know certain port numbers for certain protocols. So JM, did Packet Tracer help you a lot for the CCNA? I didn't use Packet Tracer almost at all when I studied for my CCNA. I bought physical networking. I bought a couple switches and a couple routers when I studied for my CCNA. And I used physical gear. I actually have a list to the gear I used when I studied for my CCNA down in the description. I think I have an Amazon and an eBay link to the style gear I used. And it's still relevant for the current CCNA. Packet Tracer is great because it's free. If you're on a super tight budget, Packet Tracer works. But when you're studying for your CCNA and you don't have a lot of experience with actual networking hardware, I highly recommend getting your hands on some actual physical Cisco gear. Don't spend a lot of money for them. You can get them on eBay for like 30 bucks. I have an Amazon link to a couple different things. For your entire CCNA lab, maybe at most spend 100 bucks if you're going really elaborate and bougie. But I have the links to the types of routers and switches that work great for when you're studying for the CCNA. Get them used. Just spend, maybe 15 to 20 bucks a piece. And if you want the highest end lab, get 2 routers, 2 switches, and you can build everything you need, complete topology for studying for your CCNA with that. You don't have to get all that. You could do like one router, one switch, and stuff like that. But that's how I study for the CCNA. Let me take a drink here. Losing my voice. Trey, would Network Plus be the best route to go next, or Security Plus? Trey, what do you want to study? Do you want to get into networking, or do you want to get into security? You know, if you're just looking to break into the field, it's great to look at your next step, but align your certifications for what your end goal is, your end career goal. I wanted to be a networking administrator, so I studied networking. I became a director of network operations now. Now that I'm a director, I'm studying different things. But yeah, what do you want to do with your career, Trey? Magic. Modem is that what you're referring to as a switch? No, I was referring to a networking switch. I'm not referring to a modem. So please explain a basic modem. A basic modem is a device typically given to you by your internet service provider to connect to their service. So typically a modem is either a DSL modem or a cable modem, and it connects you to their network and provides you with typically an RJ45 or a Wi-Fi access. It connects you to their service. Nowadays, modems have become fancy. They have very low-level firewalls, routers and switches built into them, and Wi-Fi sometimes. But that doesn't change really its functionality. A modem connects you to a service provider. What I was talking about was switches and routers. Totally different thing. Routers and switches sit inside your network, not on the edge of your network. So hopefully, Magic, that's explained it to you. Trey, thinking a system administration job I'd like to get into is what I like to, or sorry, I think system administration is the job I'd like to get into. What is the CCNA? Should this be something I need to look into? If you want to get into system administration, you're definitely going to need networking. The CCNA is Cisco certified networking associate certification. It is, I think, the best entry-level networking certification you can get is the CCNA. It's put out by Cisco. Every employer, everyone knows what the CCNA is in the networking realm, and I think that would be a really good certification for you next. If you're looking to be a system administrator, you don't need your Security Plus. You can become a system administrator without that. CCNA would definitely be probably my next recommendation to you, Trey. It is a really good certification, and it's a great stepping stone after your A+. JM, I want to be a pen tester, so I am interested in taking certs related to security. But A+ and Security Plus helped me decide what I want to do in IT because I didn't know what I wanted before I began studying. Absolutely. A+ and Security Plus are great entry-level certifications to help you decide. And that's why I say people entering the field should really, you should honestly get your first entry-level help desk position first and then go from there and see what you like, because that entry-level help desk position will give you exposure to the other types of jobs out there, and you'll really get to know what you like to do. Do you use Linux or do you use Windows or something else? Favorite, please. Yes, I use Linux and Windows. On my work computer, I dual boot both of them constantly. I'm typically in both operating systems on a day-to-day basis. I primarily try to daily drive at work Linux. But in my position, there are some programs I have to run Windows on, and it's just easier to just reboot my system and hop on my Windows computer. I use Ubuntu for my Linux install, and recently switched over to Windows 11 So Windows is a great operating system. Let me rephrase that. Linux is a really great operating system. If it was up to me, I would only run Linux. But there's too many applications that don't work properly on Linux. Mainly, like when it comes to my YouTube channel, a lot of my software doesn't function properly on Linux, and I have to run Windows. So on my personal computer, I only run Windows. So that's my opinion on it. I do have Linux subsystems for Windows installed on my Windows system, so I can play around with Linux on my home system. But like at work, I primarily deal with Linux servers, so I run Linux at work. So hope that kind of answered it. You just installed and activated Linux subsystems. Installed Ubuntu, also cool. Yeah, absolutely. Linux subsystem for Windows is really cool. Yorkyard asks, welcome. Thank you, by the way, for being an amazing Patreon subscriber. Yorkyard asks is, if you guys don't know, is our very first Patreon subscriber. As a Patreon member, he gets early access to our YouTube videos when they come out, and special one-on-one chats. And we actually haven't done ours yet, but yeah, if you guys are interested in joining Patreon to support the channel, link is down in the description. Or if you also want to support, we also have a Buy Me a Coffee link as well. So Yorkyard asks, for someone with no networking experience, how difficult is the current version of the CCNA? It's not that difficult. If you have the fundamental kind of knowledge about networking, I think the current CCNA is easier than ever. It's definitely easier than it used to be. I think you should do just fine. Let me put it this way. If you, Yorkyard asks, if you have like an A+ level of experience, if you've taken your A+, I can't remember yet off the top of my head, but if you have the entry level kind of knowledge, you should be just fine with your CCNA. CCNA teaches you all the skills you really need to know. JM, is it difficult to get into operational technology to run or manage industrial systems? No, it's not difficult, and there's plenty of jobs out there looking for that. It just takes different skills. You have to have different knowledge set. You're not going to get into it with no previous experience. You're going to need time on the help desk and move up through the ranks there and study for it. But OT is definitely not a hard position to get into. Do I repair laptops? Yes, I do. I repair a good amount of laptops. I'm literally gonna probably go today or tomorrow and replace a battery on a laptop and stuff like that. Just my 2 cents, but if you're looking for a career in security, you need to know the networking side of things. You need to know the networking, how the network works in order to secure it. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that statement. And my opinion is, if you're looking to get into networking, get your CCNA or at least your Network Plus. Because you absolutely, you need to know how the network works so you can secure it. So definitely go after your CCNA before like a Security Plus. Because the Security Plus or any other security certifications expects you already have that level of knowledge about networking before that certification. So definitely that's one thing I would recommend, is learn how the network works if you're getting into security. I'm going to have to probably hop off here in a little bit. Got a couple more minutes before I have to head back to work. This has been a great live stream, guys. I really appreciate all the questions. And if you have any more questions, feel free to drop them in really quick. Or if you're watching this on the replay, put your questions down in the comment. I get back to every single one of you. Do you recommend getting entry-level Linux certs too? If you're going to be working with Linux in your job, absolutely. To break into the IT field, no, you don't need to get entry-level Linux certs. The A+ will teach you the fundamentals of Linux. The A+ covers Linux operating system. If you don't plan on working with Linux systems in your job, you don't need a Linux certification. You can get it if it interests you. I'm studying for the Linux Plus, but I manage and run several different Linux servers, so it's something that I do. Yorkyard asks, thanks for this. Thanks. I got the official course textbook for the CCNA, and it looks intimidating at first glance. That textbook you're talking about, Yorkyard asks, is very intimidating. It's very dry. I don't, in all honesty, even recommend it for studying for the CCNA. It is very difficult to work through, and it's almost just it's almost useless. It's a paperweight. I wish Network Check would hurry up with his free CCNA course, but for studying for the CCNA, my biggest recommendations is I really like INE. They've come out with a whole lot of new virtual labs, and the price is not bad. INE is a great resource. CBT Nuggets is also great, and IT Pro TV. Those are the three off the top of my head I recommend for studying for the CCNA. There's really not as many free resources out there for the CCNA like there is the A+. Really appreciate the info. I'll be following your channel closely as I continue my IT journey. Trey, absolutely. If you're not a member already, definitely go join our Discord, because there's a lot of cool folks over there and a lot of stuff happening. All right, last couple questions here before I have to duck out here. Security is a good field, especially on with current things going on. Networking is extremely valuable, in my opinion. Techs want it everywhere. Networking is an amazing field, and there'll always be in demand for networking. And if you're interested in getting in security, I definitely recommend studying networking. Like I said, you have to know how to protect. You have to know how the network works so you can protect it. JM, would you recommend Linux Institute Cert or the Comptia Linux Plus? Which one is better than the other? I don't think there's one better than the other. I've worked with both. I've worked with the Linux Institute. Those folks are great. They actually donated. We gave a certification, one of their certifications away. They just approach it from a different angle. So I definitely think they're both great, and they both will look great on your resume. Linux Plus, the Linux Plus or the Linux Institute cert. Definitely go with that. Yorkyard asks, you are welcome for the input. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap up this live stream. Definitely, if you haven't already, make sure and give the video a thumbs up. It definitely helps it get found, and subscribe. And, you know, every week we at least do a live stream on Sundays, typically around 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sundays Pacific time. And definitely we try to record a video out every week. And I might start peppering these live streams in if you guys like them. So, all right, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions afterwards, hit me up in the Discord. Links in the description or in the comments below. All right, thanks, guys, for tuning in.